All righty. Salama, salama, salama. Shalom. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Q2UA special report. This is a special report. I haven't even really been able to even sit down and get a good glimpse of what has been happening. I know that the trade war is beginning. You now have Russia and China. Yeah, excuse me, not Russia and China, but you now have China, Canada, and Mexico. And these are the things that when I hear this stuff, you know, it's very funny that there are there's literally biblical, you know, constructs that are on out there about when, people are so arrogant, the proud, right? What always happens to the proud? What always happens to the haughty? Well, they're the first ones to fall. And, you know, I still believe that the scripture is true, especially how the Most High has things in place. Because when I look at these things, when I see what's happening, as what you have going on in front of your eyes, there was a time, and I'm just gonna put that on out there. There was a time that people were allowed to be ignorant. Let's just put it on out there. People were allowed to be ignorant. They're allowed to live in their bubble. And it was okay for them to live in their bubble. It was okay for them to be ignorant. But now, when people actually see it happening, now folks are looking like deers and staring in the headlights. And folks are saying, all of a sudden, where did this come from? What is happening? Why is this happening? Right? Everything that was told of, well, this is what you do, and this is how you do it, and this is what happens, and that's what happens, and don't worry, everything is good. And the reality is simple. The reality is that the lie that folks chose to live in, don't get it twisted, our people chose to live in a lie. Most of our people did, because this awakening was not comfortable. This awakening was, matter of fact, on our people, they didn't like it. They didn't like it. Even some of the channels that we have that had been about the awakening, they didn't understand the consequences of what the awakening truly meant. And if you think you're going to be comfortable sitting here in Babylon and that, don't worry, everything's going to be okay, Akuna Matata. Well, I'm sorry, but those folks were sitting in a lie. And all a lie does is to keep you comfortable in the lie long enough that you will be deleted in the process. That's why it has been told, prepare, 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 reach on out, find someone, pray. Be led of the Ruach HaKodesh. Don't be led off of Hananiah's. And that is what we've been encountering. And now Hananiah can't save you because Hananiah is trying to figure out what's happening with Hananiah's government jobs, government contracts, their jobs in this society, which is all fueled by the government. Hananiah was real cool until provisions ran out. And then that's when you'll find Hananiah is nowhere to be found because Hananiah ain't getting paid anymore by their handler. But that's a story for another day. Trump says Canada will cease to exist. I put this link out in the chat here because I want to really build on this synopsis this morning that the US Treasury has fallen. This, when I come to this channel, this isn't, a biblical analysis of anything. No, this is your geopolitical analysis that then will focus on the African diaspora, which is where we live on at. This is who we are. And what that potentially means to the African continent as we begin to develop our presence on the continent. It's a process of time, it is a course of time. And I believe, in my personal opinion, that that development of time is happening right now as we speak. So, as all of this is going on, understand we have an opportunity, an historic opportunity of being able to work with our brothers and sisters on the continent as this place is trying to survive. And nothing says more that this place is trying to survive when Trump says Canada will cease to exist without subsidy and US has unlimited energy. Donald Trump has fired back at Justin Trudeau's tariffs by claiming Canada should become our cherished 51st state. And that's interesting because you have Puerto Rico that doesn't even have a stable electronic grid. Understand these expansionisms will actually mean, to me, states are about to break away. I believe it's Vermont or New Hampshire that actually put in their constitution, their state constitution, that if the national debt raises above $40 trillion, they will have a vote for succession. Because understand that is not going to get paid. It's runaway debt. And that debt runs away until, number one, everybody just collapses or things get controlled by other countries when the nation loses. We're on a path that everybody literally loses. So, in this, Donald Trump has angrily fired back at Justin Trudeau's tariffs by claiming Canada will cease to exist as a viable country without U.S. subsidy. Trump has sparked a bitter trade war as Mexico and Canada, who have hit back with retaliatory tariffs after the U.S. president slapped both countries with huge levies. Understand, look, the U.S. is not in the position it once had been. So all this is for those, MAGA supporters that are being called out, especially, let's just face it and let's just be honest, according to Department of Labor and Statistics, that the MAGA women of that persuasion, white women, were the leaders of DEI. And now they're literally being cut in this frenetic pace. So it always makes you wonder, is that, who was actually qualified? I know that I have been applying for things for years, and And I've seen folks come on in. True story, the last job that I had, a white woman had come in, and it was them folks of that Japhetic grandson Japhetic descent. And then I'd always get something on Teams. Hey, Karis, can you help me out? Hey, Karis, can you help me out? I realized that, when they had brought her in back in late November, early December, I already knew that that was going to be my quote unquote replacement. And I was just like, you know what? Yeah, sure. I had already had plans of doing something else. I wasn't just sitting here, oh, woe is me. No, I actually wasn't. But she had been a certified project manager. That was her certification. But she didn't really even have a background in anything IT. She just didn't. And she would even say that, like, this is her second, like, IT job. She was able to get in when everybody was hiring. And guess what? Wherever she was at for, sitting around for those couple years, there was no need to do any type of, like continuing education or anything else. It was just, hey, I got my project management certification, and I'm good. And in late 2022, early 2023, it was okay. And you know what? That was a DEI hire. That was. And it wasn't to, it wasn't to insult the person, but it was, quite simply put that when they really did not have the understanding of what was happening, how things are happening. And there was a level of, just not getting it. Now, at the beginning, I was helpful. Then towards the end, I'm like, I wasn't even returning any calls. I'm like, you're gonna take my job anyway, so you're gonna have to figure it on out. Well, let me tell you this. Of course, I left in April of that year, and she was gone in September. Surprise, surprise. But because of DEI, she was able to get a job very quickly. And then, literally 6 months later, she was fired. I see her in my little LinkedIn channels and stuff and feeds all the time, jumping from job to job to job. Because why? Because they had been afforded that opportunity. It didn't matter what your qualifications were. It didn't matter if you even knew what you're doing. You didn't even have to have a reference. And you have to understand that was just the microcosm of a much bigger problem. And this much bigger problem is being seen on the world stage, that you have all of these things that they wanted to demonize with DEI, and literally they were the biggest recipients of it, just like welfare. So they're telling on themselves. And now they're being embarrassed because they're actually told on themselves, and we're just sitting here like, well, what did you expect? No, we're not going to run out and throw ourselves down there on your sword of embarrassment. Y'all slit your own throats. And they surely did. And now, really, everybody's looking in all the communities and saying, look, the joke is on you all. Indians can do what? You know what they can do? They can actually go, you go on LinkedIn, they can find themselves a job. They'll find themselves a job, and guess what? Their jobs will be in India. And guess what they do? They offset their time. Trust me, I know. I see them here. In my apartment complex, whole bunch of Indians. These folks are literally off at noon Indian time. Their day wraps up. They just do a very, very late shift in India. And guess what they do? And then they're on talking to their families. They're making their money. Same with all the Asians. The Chinese, same thing. There are some Indians, guess what? They'll go into work, but they telecommute. I'm telling you, India has Tampa on lock. And if you don't believe me, there's a place, it's called like the Patel Complex. And you also have a Kiran C. Patel, Dr. Kiran C. Patel magnet school, high school. My kids went there for like a couple of weeks and then they hated it. He built a high school. He put like a couple, they put like 200 or 300 million into it. So it's going to sustain for a good 15, 20 years. Was the endowment. And those kids, they go to that high school. Guess what? A lot of them, they're on and off to Ivy League education at the very least. They have their own systems. Now, let me tell you this. Do you now think that these Indians are going to be hiring white women now that DEI is gone? Absolutely not. See, the thing is, what we have been explaining is that economic power does not come from them, i.e., white folks. Economic power actually came from us. We didn't realize how powerful we were and what we did in holding the keys to the relationships on the continent. They dangle us on out for our sellouts, and then they say, hey, look, everything is fine in America. And guess what? Nobody is listening to the sellouts anymore. Because they asked the question, wait a second, I heard such and such on YouTube. I heard this person on YouTube. This person came to visit Africa. This person came to the presidential palace. This person came to parliament. And we heard them, and they had a completely different dissenting voice. And they were showing us facts and figures, and they were providing all sorts of anecdotes. And guess what? They had a plan. And their plan was more thoughtful and more thorough. And we were surprised that this plan came from these black folks' mouth and not the mouth of a white person. Do you know what that does? That develops the economic opportunities that they are now missing. And now understand there's a lot of things going on with this. Oh, there's so much meat. Shout out to Lisa Cabrera and True Royal. They were on the other day and they were talking about, everything with Elon and the Treasury. But there's a lot more that goes into place with that. See, understand the Treasury just isn't about paying federal bills and federal dollars. The Treasury has a lot more of an implication when it comes down to the actual SWIFT system and when it comes down to a thing called USAID. Besides the military, the Department of Defense, the the department that has the most costs and expenses besides the DoD is the Department of State. I want to bring this on home so you all can understand what truly is happening here. What Trump is literally doing here, that what this cabinet is really doing, what Musk and them are really doing. Yeah, they look, Lisa and them gave a great analysis. I'm not knocking that, but I want to give them I want to give you all an understanding because you want to know why? Because I've seen it the firsthand. Matter of fact, I can reach out and grab my USAID book. Because the Department of State is responsible. Y'all may not even like this. Before you do, if you don't mind, please like, share, and subscribe to Q2UA by visiting Q2UA.org. Sign up to be a volunteer today. Also, if you'd like to give to the organization, to this channel via super chat, super sticker, you may do so because I don't know if by telling you the truth that our channel standing will occur. But this is a truth channel, it's a truth organization, and it's a truth nonprofit. Nonprofits by nature should be truthful. Well, yes, Princess Leia, if I can, yes, they are. However, USAID, through USAID, the Department of State, pays the rest of the world hush money on our captivity. Let that sink in. You want to know why the world has not and does not complain about our captivity? You want to know why Africa doesn't and did not complain? Now they do, but they hadn't been because of the puppets that they had were taking the hush money. They were taking the billions of dollars. Come on now. Come on now, revisions. Come on now. My sister works for USAID. Employers are being told that it's going to be shut down. Come on now. Y'all think, okay, all right, I'm just going to go. You know what? I'm leaving. I'm out. I'm out. I know that people think that Brother Karras is just full of this and doesn't know what he. All right, I'm done. Come on. By two or three witnesses shall every matter be established. Come on. Did y'all see the DIA sheet that's been floating around? They're getting rid of what? All of these heritage months. Well, look, you ain't gonna have no Hispanic Heritage Month because they're gonna be deported by September, October. I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh. It's not funny. It's really not funny. Oh, no soy alegro. Eso es chiste. Eso es chiste. Lo siento, eso es chiste. Bueno. Brevemente adelante. Okay, moving forward. I'm sorry. I live in Tampa. I was born in Florida. I speak Spanish. Hablo español. Más o menos. Man, I'm going to stop speaking Spanish and I'm not going to have no type of empanadas. My days are going to Mr. Empanada and Pollo Tropical. Son fine. They're finished. They're the end. Are done. Yeah, they're not going to be here by September, October to even celebrate a Hispanic Heritage Month. I'm sorry. That's pretty jacked up. But when I tell you this, understand these nations don't care. This is not 2016, 2017. Excuse me. This administration is coming into a time where they are looking like Boo Boo the Fool. How did those tariffs work for Trump? Or excuse me, not Trump, for Putin. They didn't work. Now that they've had about 60% of the world turning on the dollar and counting, guess what? They're about to quickly meet that threshold, and Europe is quickly looking at BRICS because the US isn't doing Europe any favors, right? I want to break this on down to you. This tells you everything you need to know. Why? This is why Elon is there. Elon is in there to stop the funding of what? Of federal funds. To where? To other countries. Because why? Because the U.S. can't afford to pay the bribe anymore. Here's another one. Two or three witnesses shall every word be established. Here you go. This is from AP. USAID staffers told to stay out of Washington headquarters at the month said Trump agreed to close it. It's gone. Come on now. This is updated as of less than 30 minutes ago. Staffers of the U.S. Agency for International Development were instructed to stay out of the agency's Washington headquarters on Monday, according to a notice distributed to them after billionaire Elon Musk announced President Donald Trump had agreed with him to shut the agency. Oh my goodness, I'm telling you. Do you see all this happening real time? America is literally being destroyed from within as we speak. Am I lying? Is he lying? Is he lying? He ain't lying. He ain't lying. Let's read. USAID staffers said they tracked 600 employees who reported being locked out of the agency's computer systems overnight. Those still in the system received emails in the agency system saying that at the direction of agency leadership, the headquarters building will be closed to agency personnel on Monday, February 3rd. Why? Projects are done, which means hush money is done, which means probably sometime this week, maybe, just maybe. I'm gonna put my shot on out there. Probably within 24 to 48 hours, they're gonna say, you want to know what? Those are Israelites over there that America has in captivity. What? What? Yeah, those are actually Judah that America has in captivity. Yeah, those are Yahudim. What? Why? Why are people gonna just open up their mouths? Because why? Because they're gonna let the cat out the bag. I ain't getting paid anymore. Guess what? Y'all on your own. I guess you should have thought about it when you know you weren't cutting that check. It's gonna be like that? Yeah, it's gonna be like that. Y'all thought that the aid was going to come to America. No, they literally spend trillions of dollars a year. Trillions to pay off hush money around the world. Why do you think they give billions of dollars to these countries? For what? I kind of laughed because that's what I suspected when Elon went to the Treasury. And now you see this analysis in full time. Did anybody else on the YouTube sphere break this analysis down? I'm trying to figure this on out. The Canadian preppers say it? Did Paul and Adrian say it? Did anyone else say it? No. Because they don't even know what and how the federal government works. I saw this back on Friday. And I said, yep, that's the very first one. They're going to the State Department and they're going to go straight to USAID. And there it was. 2 or 3 witnesses, every matter's established. This is why I tell you, family, like, support your boy. Because do you think that they really want this type of analysis getting on out there? No, they want you dumb and ignorant. And they want you to watch Captain America. It's gonna be a black man that's Captain Cat. That's the new Captain America movie to me. Captain All Cap. So now understand they're closing that. Guess what they're gonna close next? Department of Education. Because why? Because they can't afford no bills. If I can't pay people the hush money, then I can't pay people get educated. Why? Our system is collapsing. Why do you need to have all of these terminal degrees? Why do you have to have a master's? Why do you have to have a bachelor's? When your new AI overlord, courtesy of a Tesla robot, is going to be rounding you up like human chattel. You don't think that's next? Oh, that's next. We're bringing you into these spaces to keep you safe. Due to the extreme economic environments, we want to make sure that we can keep you safe and fed, Soylent Green. I'm sorry. That is why I came on Wednesday, or excuse me, this Saturday, or this last Saturday, this Shabbat. I knew it. I knew they were coming after the State Department. Then they're going to come after education. The last thing that they're going to come after is DOD. Because why? Because here's the impact. So let me give you this analysis so you all can understand this. I appreciate you all support, family. This is what I like to do very first thing in the morning so you understand what's happening so then you can plan your day, your week, these literally next couple of hours. So what did they actually do? Let's understand what is happening and why, probably either today or tomorrow, when people actually understand what's happening. Someone had said in the chat here, when is the market crash? I think that was you, Ninja Firewolf. Yes, when's the how long till the crash? I'm gonna get to that. And it's not to have you all panic. Do not panic. But I'm gonna get to that. So understand the State Department. The State Department has USAID. That is their mobilization of paying, the bribe. Let's just put that on out there. Now, if you don't have a bribe being paid, then guess what? You don't have any type of diplomatic cover. Why? Because these people aren't going to just host troops there for free. They're not. They're going to kindly tell them, pack your bags and leave. Because why? Because part of that is for any type of military, right, to be in these places and in these spaces, then guess what? They have to pay for the economy. They have to pay for food, supplies, electric, and even telecommunications. They have to pay to use airspace. They have to pay to use fuel and other supplies that's there on the economy. Yes, those are your status of forces agreement. Those are your acquisition cross servicing agreements, your AXAs. I was involved in all of that. That's why I was also a military analysis, a planner in the J5, strategy, plans, and policy. Because why? Because you have to be able to talk to the countries. So then they are able to help you. And then you have your AID programs that was their funnel for, pushing through monies. So now what they're doing is now they're systematically shutting off government resources. They can't play the charade anymore. I told you this. BlackRock probably only had enough money from the US government, probably for, 5 years. And we're hitting that 5 years mark. Here's the real crazy thing about this. So if you don't have a functional government in the federal level, what do you think happens next? And now then resorts to the state level. What is at the state level in terms of militaristic action? The National Guard. So the federal government will not enact martial law. Matter of fact, it's the state government that will be the authorities to marshal those services for martial law. Why is that? Because there has to be an event that's getting ready to come to happen. I don't know what that Black Swan event's going to be. I don't know what that Flashpoint event's going to be. I don't know, but I see it coming. And this is coming from Trump. It's bankruptcy. You can't pay bills. Guess what? People are going to get fired. And this firing, it's going to have consequences because why? Because understand there are some obligatory measures in terms of government contracts that these vendors are looking at. These vendors like Raytheon, Northrop Grumman, General Dynamics, and the list goes on and on and on and on. And guess what? They affect everything from health and human services, medical, HUD, which is also different grants and things of that nature with Sally Mae, commerce, banking, and now you just have the Treasury. Come on. They are stopping. Look, they're not paying bills anymore. We're looking at just the Treasury. We're not even understanding they're not paying bills anymore. It's not going to be an overnight crash. This is going to be a prolonged crash. Because in this prolonged crash, government agencies are going to get shut down. So then they can do what? Redistribute the wealth. If I can't pay for bills there, I got to pay for bills internally. I think we kind of knew. If you didn't know, that's what's happening. You can't pay to the outside, so guess what you have to do? You have to pay for the inside. You got to pay to keep people fed on the inside. That will be good for the next 6, 7 months, but their international currency has fallen. It has failed. The international currency has failed. So whenever Trump says, "Oh, we're this or we're that, we have all this, we have that," no, you don't. No, you don't. You lost it because you can't afford it. And this is literally happening right in front of our eyes. You don't have to believe me. That's fine. I don't. I'm not here to try to convince people. I'm really not. I do know what I'm talking about just a little bit. Just a little bit. And I'm not here saying that I have it all the way right. I'm not saying that. But what I do know is this. This thing is happening in front of our eyes, in front of our faces, at really an astounding rate. So now you understand what that really means about, yeah, they could pay this, they could pay that, they could do. No, it's a little bit more sinister than that. It's not about just who's getting paid. Yeah, that's a little superficial on the analysis. It's much bigger than that. When you don't have enough money to keep our identities hush hush anymore, then it becomes a major problem. See, when everybody's getting paid, hey, Zachariah 11:5, hey, we offend not. We offend not. Now you understand why they want visas for our for Americans, not our people, Americans going over. Because I'm talking about the diaspora, but for Americans going over. Because why? Because they know that people are going to be trying to go there and be illegal citizens. Because why? Because if you understand the writing on the wall and you don't have any other outlet, you're not getting any outlets from Africa. That's done. They're not getting any other outlets from any of these other countries. That's done. We would have healed Babylon, but she refused to be healed. She refused. For those folks that say there's no second Exodus, and and that want to badmouth the continent, well, guess what? Pretty soon they're going to be they're going to be on the cheering squad. Oh yeah, the continent, yeah. I see, y'all making money. Cyclical trade can only go so far in a dying economy. Cyclical trade can only go so far. Yeah, the stock market. And then guess what? All you're doing is just cycling through the trade. You have no wealth anymore. That's what they're trying to tell you. America has zero wealth. Yeah, when we get to about April, March, oh my goodness. I'm telling you, you will see a big difference. And you don't even have to be a prophet on that one. My goodness. My goodness. It is truly happening in front of our own eyes. Unreal. I don't know how else you could say it, but let me tell you this because here this goes. And all those Dow futures, to me, it's fake. Yeah, people are bringing are they're bringing their money out, their real money they're bringing out, so fake money can come in. And let me show you this because when you have fiat, you can actually print as much money as you want to print. And now that printing is actually having consequences. So this is as of 7/18. This is as literally 3 minutes ago. Dow futures slammed by 600 points after Trump hits Canada, Mexico, and China with tariffs. Live updates. Just dropped this link in the chat. Stock futures dropped to kick off a new trading month after Donald Trump hit several key U.S. trading partners with tariffs, raising fears that a full-blown trade war would disrupt global supply chains, reignite inflation, and slow the economy. That's what it's getting ready to do. The economy has to slow because the economy has no liquidity. Basically, it has no money. This is what's going on. It has to happen. This has to happen. This is happening. And I know people are getting mad that this is occurring. But let me tell you this. I'm going to tell you this. Within the next 2 months, there is going to be something incredible happening within our community. And I can't give you any details, but I am very, very excited. And I'm going to tell you this. The only way to access that, don't send me no emails. Don't send me no LinkedIn. Okay? You need to sign up to be a volunteer because we need to know who you are as these opportunities unfold. I'm not going to tell you. No. As a matter of fact, I can't tell you because I'm literally under an NDA. But what I can tell you is, do you not think that the Most High already had a lifeline for us? He truly did. He truly did, and he truly has. And it's truly amazing. And you know how awesome the Most High is? I never would have seen that coming. It just came out of left field. We were looking one way, and it was like, no, he T-boned us. Even as we thought we had the green light, the Most High like literally T-boned us. But that's why you always have to give the Most High praise. You always have to give an exhortation of praise. You always have to give him the reverence that he desires. Because grumbling and murmuring does not do anything but really just set you back. This is what's happening. And it was so funny because, I was thinking about a solution back in November, December timeframe of doing this thing here, doing this thing there. And you know what? This was it was an awesome opportunity. But what I was told to help to develop this. Because let me tell you, when this harvest comes in, it's not if, but when. We can't just have people on out here just willy-nilly trying to destroy stuff. We're done with that. And I thank the Most High that he literally had us getting some beat downs and taking a bruise because now we see how the punches get thrown. Because the enemy can only do the enemy's game plan. Because the enemy's game plan is not authentic. When you play like Mike Tyson's Punch Out, right? You knew how each move was because you understood the programming. That's literally the enemy. The enemy just has a program. It really can't do anything else other than that program. Yes, the program may be complex, but it's still the same pattern of the program. And the Most High has you to get beat and hit the few times so you understand, okay, thank you, Father. That's it. This is the path. This is the guide. Hallelujah. Because everything that we do for his glory, guess what he does? He moves us around and he opens up these doors. So when people are going to be like, oh, how did this happen? How did that happen? How's this? How's that? How? It wasn't me. It was the Most High. But all I know was now almost, wow, 22 months ago, there was a real yearning in my spirit to be able to look forward to do things and this and that. And guess what? The Most High brought it all together. He did. He brought it all together. And as he brought it all together, then I started to understand, wow, yeah, this is for his glory. I have to wait a little while. We have to wait a little while. But you know, the funny thing is that this was kind of a couple of years in the making, a couple of years. But I'm saying all this because part of being able to get to the continent to help our people does come from these organizations within. I don't care what you vote for, how you vote, how you want to have systems of man. Guess what? The Most High laughs at all of that. He does. Oh, you're trying to do it that way, or you're trying to do it the Babylonian way. You're trying to, haha. And his way is always much better. What does the word say? He makes a way out of no way. He truly does. So when I had the neo diplomacy 101 and the art of diplomacy with Sister Shar and I, that was literally the setup. That was the setup. And so many I have I have to laugh because it truly tickles me to see how awesome the Most High is and how he moves. Yeah, Fort Living Room Homestead. Please send me an email of when you get to your final destination because there are some things there that we need to collaborate on. Hallelujah. The family with that, I gotta go out here to Babylon. And you know what? I was complaining about it and I said, no, thank you, Father, because the reality is he actually has me here to understand some things for another season. It's actually a season in advance when everything pops, when everything starts to really move. So, I don't look at the kids as oh man, it's this or that. Matter of fact, no, I'm looking at the framework and I'm looking at the construct because I'm looking at how do we then work on our kids, our Hebrew brothers and sisters, our Hebrew sons and daughters, right? Those that future. And how do we develop that physically, emotionally, spiritually? So, family, with that, thank you again for your support of the Q2UA mission. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for supporting family. All that, every endeavor that we do within this ecosphere, because it does make a difference globally, especially on the continent. There will be a time when you all start to see how big this thing was and is right now. But the carrots, you do all that? Yep. Oh man, that's why you couldn't say anything. Yep. I do have to carry a big boulder for the Most High, and I thank Him for that. I truly do. But family, again, don't be discouraged. Don't be dismayed. Guess what? Take the name of Yahusha with you wherever you go. And with that, family, tomorrow you shall see me, Most High willing, on Q2, or excuse me, on Covenant Awakenings. On Covenant Awakenings. So with that said, family, again, thank you for your support. Thank you for your prayers. And you all have a blessed and highly favored day, being covered under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach. Hallelujah. Shalom and salama, family.